Alexander Volkanovski is on top of the world right now. He has beaten everyone who's tried to challenge him for the featherweight belt and now has his eyes on a bigger prize. But first, he must settle an old score with a tough rival. So, who is standing in the way of Volkanovski being considered the greatest of all time? And which former champion might be coming out of retirement to take him down? Stay tuned to find out. Holloway. Max Holloway just doesn't go away. He's been fighting in the UFC since 2012 and has come back time and time again. After losing to Conor McGregor in 2013, he replied with a 13-fight win streak, defeating Charles Oliveira, Anthony Pettis, and Jose Aldo. And apart from a loss to Dustin Poirier at UFC 236, the only thing standing in the way of this recent winning streak is Alexander Volkanovski. His two latest fights against Yair Rodriguez and Calvin Kattar were some of Holloway's best performances. The Australian has proved to be Holloway's toughest opponent, beating him twice in the space of 2 years. Both times, it went the distance and it was up to the judges. And this July, Holloway will have one more opportunity to take the belt from Volkanovski. Their trilogy fight was originally set for UFC 272 this March, but Holloway had to pull out because of an injury. The Korean zombie Jung Chang-sung stepped up to fill his place, and then strangely, Holloway offered to be his backup. Volkanovski was totally confused by the offer and said that he didn't understand. He said that it's not how things work and questioned whether or not Holloway was really injured. Volkanovski said that it was because Holloway didn't stand a chance of beating him fair and square, and that he was resorting to cheap tactics. Maybe Holloway was trying to catch Volkanovski while he was preparing for a different opponent. Either way, the fight didn't end up happening, and Volkanovski convincingly beat the Korean zombie to keep his belt. After 3 rounds, the Korean was looking so battered that the referee called a stop to the fight. After the fight, Volkanovski said, "I'm on another level, and I can't be stopped." Title shot. As a featherweight division champion, it comes with some perks. The bragging rights and higher pay are among them, but so is the advantage if you want to move into a different division. That's why UFC President Dana White has said that if Volkanovski wants to move up to the lightweight division, he will more than likely be able to skip the line and get a shot at the title. White said that if he continues to win and dominate that division and he wants to move up to that division, he could take on the champion. And that's a big deal. We're talking about a division that has Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Michael Chandler. But there's a big argument that Volkanovski deserves the shot. He has so far won 21 fights in a row and completely decimated the featherweight class. For those complaining that he would be skipping the queue, Volkanovski has earned his place as champion, and to start from the bottom of another division is a little much to ask. Plus, everyone wants to see a champion against a champion. At the moment, it looks like it will likely be Charles Oliveira defending against Volkanovski, even though technically he doesn't have the title after missing weight at UFC 274. But former middleweight champion Michael Bisping thinks that Volkanovski might have more than he bargained for in a potential matchup. He said that it's hard to bet against Oliveira in his current form. Even though Holloway has beaten Oliveira before, that was back in 2015, and he's a completely different fighter now. He's revived his career with a new mentality, and it's hard to imagine even Volkanovski breaking it down. Which former champion might be coming out of the woodwork for a Volkanovski fight? And what do we know about a possible Volkanovski versus McGregor fight? Don't go anywhere, because all of that is coming right up. The GOAT? On his way up to the title, Volkanovski had some pretty steep competition. He defeated Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo, and then Max Holloway twice. The first time won him featherweight championship belt, and the rematch defended it. Since then, he's defended it twice more against Brian Ortega and Chan Sung Jung. If Volkanovski can beat Holloway in the trilogy fight, then he'll leave no doubt about his supremacy in the division. And for the man himself, he thinks that he'll have earned the title of greatest of all time if he pulls it off. He said in an interview, "I beat him 3 times in his prime. How do I not take that GOAT status? This is what's good about this fight." And for Volkanovski, he needs the win to help catapult him into the lightweight division and claim a second division. Plus, greater success will bring him a bigger payday, reinforce his legacy, and earn him enough to support his family forever. These are the things motivating Volkanovski right now, and it's hard to deny their strength. But with great power comes great responsibility. All of the pressure is on him to maintain his legacy and keep his title. For Holloway, he has nothing to lose. He'll always be regarded as one of the best in the featherweight division, and even a third loss to Volkanovski won't stop that. But if Volkanovski loses, then it is a major disruption in his plans and will be an asterisk on his career. And he would need to fight Holloway again to remove it. A possible 4th Volkanovski versus Holloway fight? We can't say that we're complaining. Sights set. Another notch on Volkanovski's belt that he's trying to achieve is a win over a champion who has so far eluded him. It's a fight that almost everyone in the UFC wants, and Volkanovski thinks that this makes sense. He's talking about Conor McGregor, a man who has become bigger bigger than MMA and can draw a huge audience no matter who he's fighting. For Volkanovski, he's taken out everyone else except for the Irishman, and the fact that McGregor was once the champion of his division makes him interested. On Twitter, McGregor said that he's kicked his Volkanovski head off like it was a rugby ball, so he's clearly thought about the matchup and favors himself. But time is running out for when Volkanovski might get a shot at the Notorious. After breaking his leg in a fight with Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 last year, he has been on a recovery plan. His coach has said that McGregor is making good progress and they'll be moving back to full contact sparring soon, but others are doubtful about the timeline. Former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub has estimated that it could be as late as November that he returns to UFC. Meanwhile, Dana White has said that McGregor is not ready to come back to the octagon now, so we could be waiting some time. And waiting along with us will be Volkanovski, who can't wait to try and get an opportunity against him. But he'll have to get in line. Charles Oliveira called him out immediately after beating Justin Gaethje. He asked if McGregor was going to come back to the octagon or keep running away. Everyone wants a piece of Conor. A Cejudo return? Another name that's been popping back into the headlines is Henry Cejudo. Cejudo came to the UFC in 2014, and by 2018 had already won the Flyweight World Championship against Demetrius Johnson. Then, not only did he defend this title against the dangerous TJ Dillashaw, but he also moved up to bantamweight and won the title against Marlon Moraes. And he didn't want to be accused of being a one-hit wonder, so he defended this title against Dominique Cruz. Having achieved everything he wanted to in martial arts, including a gold medal at the Beijing Olympics for wrestling, he retired. But at the age of 33, it's clear that he could have kept going if he wanted to, and maybe he does. Now there are rumors that he could come back for a blockbuster fight with Volkanovski. He re-entered the USADA drug testing pool last week, which would make him eligible to fight in October. Volkanovski has said that he is interested in the matchup, but that he wouldn't believe it until something is set in stone. On an episode of the podcast Food Truck Diaries, Volkanovski said that Cejudo deserves a shot at the title because of his accomplishments, but for him to move up to featherweight would be a different result. Cejudo has competed at bantamweight before, but never at featherweight, and right now it's one of the most hotly contested divisions in the UFC. It would be a very brave move for him to return to a division with Volkanovski, Holloway, and Brian Ortega. But then again, Cejudo has done a lot of brave things that nobody thought were possible. Could he be the first fighter to hold titles in 3 divisions? Do you think Cejudo deserves a shot at the title after a 2-year absence? And is Volkanovski the greatest featherweight that we've ever seen? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.